Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular upon first singing out, yeah, through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome to Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show. Presented by the Barndominium Company and Resto Pros of the Midlands. Part of the Chief Sports Network. Go Gamecocks!
He'll be fire on the mountain.
Consecutive home runs for Carolina.
It is good! It's gone!
He's in. Touchdown. Williams with a throw to the plate.
He's going to score! It's a walk-off! Touchdown, South Carolina!
Well, I have a microphone and you don't.
So you will listen to every damn word I
Pop a top again. Freak it. Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend. Freak out, yo.
Oh, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back, she said shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said ooh, ooh, shut up and dance. Don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back, she said shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said ooh, ooh, shut up and dance with me.
All right, it is Friday. Greetings and good morning. Welcome aboard and welcome home inside the Gamecocks, the morning show built by the Barndo Co., presented by our friends at Resto Pros. There when you need them, Resto Pros of the Midlands, Resto Pros Midlands, SC.com. You can head to the Barndominium Company's website. We tell you every day, the message never gets old, because everything they do is a dream and it makes somebody's dreams come true. Why not be the next one? Head to thebarndoco.com to make your dreams come true. Thebarndoco.com. That's Matt. He's the king of late night. That is Mad Dog. He's the king of something. I don't know, but he is a hell of a producer. I'm JB. We're here till noon. Mike Morgan will be in around 11 o'clock today, or at 11 o'clock today. And we'll wrap up the week. There is no JC. He's preparing for another pretty shitty yard sale. And no, I'm just kidding. He's in Columbia because tomorrow there's a wing eating competition at Steve Tannehill's bar, CB18 Bar and Grill down there in 5 Points. And those of you heading that way, y'all enjoy. We won't be. We'll be enjoying the pool and ripping people off for brownies and lemonade, as my kids are set to wake and bake. Brownies. Anyways, so everybody have fun and enjoy meeting Lenore Sellers, and Ashley's going, and if Monty gets back, he's going, and a bunch of people will be out there. So I think Coach Elliott's going. That should be pretty neat. Got a pretty fun program today. The World Series begins this weekend. Dream 8 for Omaha. Dream 8. Okay. Any 8 teams that have played in this tournament in the College World Series since 2000. So we'll get to that. Mike's going to be a part of that, and looking forward to that. Matt has been at camp this week, and so we'll get some updates from him here in just a little bit of what he saw out there, maybe some future prospects, right, Matt, at South Carolina. I know they got 7-on-7. They got fields everywhere. I was talking to Coach.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun yesterday.
Yeah. Lake was pulling up this morning, but Landon Powell's in town. Landon's son is participating in 7-on-7s with his high school, and so Lake went over there to watch little LP run around and play some ball. But they got, it's in the indoors. They got Williams-Brice set up. They got Gamecock Park, like the grassy area. They've got that marked off as a field, and Matt knows, so he'll be able to talk about that here in just a minute. And then also a couple of things that came up yesterday on the program we're gonna get back to. One is the column from Chris Lowe, the most unbreakable records in college football. What is the most unbreakable record for Gamecock football? And I did put it on the board this morning. I've been trying to do a better job of paying attention, guys, because and so I did put it on the board this morning, and we've got some pretty unique responses, some that I'd thought of, some I haven't, and so we'll get into that. And then Steve Tannehill mentioned yesterday that Cam Ward could have been South Carolina's for the everyday low price of $1.5 million before last season, and Shane Beamer said, "Best of luck to Cam Ward. We got our guy over here. His name's Lenora Sellers." So we'll talk about some of that too. And the World Series, by the way, LSU and Coastal might be worth talking about. So we'll make some picks on that a little bit later on. But anyways, good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning. Sorry, we had JC's not yet in Columbia. He's on his way.
Is he driving? Is he driving?
Yeah, they drove. They spent the night here last night. They just left.
Why is he driving?
I don't know.
He likes to drive, man. They'll just talk the entire time.
That's true.
And he'll
That's
make
true.
phone calls. I was talking to him yesterday. He was asking about camp. I mean, God, it's not me. I will 2 hours max for me. If it's over 2 hours, I'm finding another way.
Yeah, I mean, we drive to the mountains. It's 4.5, 5, depending on traffic. But I'm usually pretty savvy about when I leave because when we go to Maggie, you got three deals here. You got to be able to get out of Charleston, and then you got to be able to get through Columbia and get through the I-40, I-26 interchange at decent times. So, like, if you leave Charleston in the middle of the afternoon, you hit the backside of Columbia at the wrong time, you're screwed. If you leave Charleston at the wrong time, you get through Columbia fine, you hit the 2640 interchange, you're screwed. So you either need to leave at night or leave early in the morning or early enough to be able to get there just in time. 26 sucks, man. It used to be. I remember the days when you could. Y'all remember this growing up? Like, if you were going to Columbia for a Carolina game, it was all you passed on the road was Gamecock flags or Clemson flags. People going to the upstate to watch them play, and you could generally dictate the attendance in either ballpark based on how many flags you passed on the road. Those were the only people you saw. You honked at them and you waved and all right, yeah, okay, cool. Hey, man, that man's drinking and driving, sweet. Now, people are honking at you, but it's because they're pissed off because there's too many people on the roads and we don't have enough lanes, and they're building a third lane. And by the time that's done, they're going to need a fourth lane. They haven't thought about that. So,
I remember the magnets. I'm on my way to see the Gamecocks play, and it was all over the place on the interstate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when when those stupid looking tiger tails first came out that you would hitch to the bumper of your car, or the like if you had a hatchback or whatever, and they'd be hanging out the back like they were driving. Like, I never really understood it. You know what I mean? Like, are you telling me you've got a tiger in your car? Yeah, like did you shut the trunk on the tail of a tiger, or like are you insinuating that you're driving a tiger down the road? Like what's or is it just that, like, if that's a fashion statement? I don't know. I never made a lot of sense to me. We used to fly the flags. Can I say something that's going to offend somebody? And I hope everybody knows this isn't personal. Yesterday we were talking about like the most annoying things with Coach Holbrook in baseball. Like, what's more annoying, wearing white pants on the road, or the pitcher who steps on the rubber and carves out 2 inches before the game's even started? You know what I mean? You're like, yeah, come on. The magnets that say we're on our way to see the Gamecocks play, they always made me cringe. So if one of you has one of those, I apologize. Like, I'm not trying to offend you. I just don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would never. That's not me. So glad we pissed somebody off. I've got another one for you, real quick.
Consider me offended.
Yeah. Oh, do you have one of those?
My mom did.
Sorry, Mom. That's all right. Like, it doesn't make you a bad person, or unlikable. I didn't like them. You know what I mean? But we flew car flags, and a lot of people didn't like those. I almost lost my arm flying a car flag. Actually, I almost lost my entire life. We passed somebody on the road that we knew, and I was in the back seat of the Tahoe, of my uncle's Tahoe, and I just rolled the window down to wave. And as soon as I did it, I was like, oh, crap. And I heard him say, boy, if you lose that car flag, sure enough, it flies off the side of the road. So he pulls off on the interstate. I'm like 12. And he said, get out and go get it. And I was like, There's all these cars, moving pretty quick, about 70, 80 miles an hour out here. Hey,
Playing
it's on
Frogger.
you, pal.
You rolled the window down.
You're the idiot that rolled the window down.
That's right.
Well, you should have put the child lock on, Uncle Larry. I'm only 12. All right, I got another one for you, by the way. Matt, I'm glad you're here because we get to bounce around. What is more annoying? Okay, let me ask you that. Are y'all fast drivers or not?
Probably.
I'm 77 and I'm in the right lane unless I'm passing.
Thank you. Phil, how about you?
I'm an 80 to 85 guy, and also will be in the right lane unless I'm passing you. So I spend a little bit more time than Matt does in the left lane.
Okay. I'm 80 until I can go faster. And then I'm 90-ish until I could go faster than that. So I like to move fast. My theory with slow drivers in the left lane has nothing to do with the speed limit. Nothing to do with the speed limit. I try to tell my wife this all the time. You are not the police. You're not a state trooper.
Right.
Okay? It is not your job to slow those in the left lane. If the guy in the left lane wants to go 140 miles an hour in his brand new Camaro, that is up to him. If he crashes and dies, if he gets a ticket, that was his choice. He is responsible for himself. You are not responsible for sitting in the left lane and slowing that guy down. I don't care that it says 70 miles per hour. It doesn't matter. He wants to go faster than you. So move. So I can't do it. Like, if people are like, well, I'm going 80. Well, that doesn't matter. The guy behind you wants to go 90.
Right.
Your job's to move over. And the trucks who sit in the left lane, like those who clog up the left lane of the interstate, drive me up the freaking wall, dude. Like, if you want to set it on cruise control in 79 and think, well, I'm going 9 over, great. Awesome. You are going 9 over. But the guy behind you wants to go 29 over. So get the hell out of the way. Okay? It's not your job.
Now, JB, I will say one thing. One thing that annoys the crap out of me is if I'm in the left lane and because I just went over to pass somebody and this guy comes up on my tail and I had no idea that I couldn't see him because he's going 100 miles per hour and he wants to get on my butt while I'm passing to get in the right lane with my blinker on. That drives me up a wall.
And it should. And that's fair enough. It's the one I'm with you on that. I'll give you some space on that, Matt. I won't get up on your ass for that. But like, if you get over and you're just taking your sweet time, I'm gonna push you out of the way a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, my wife's like, get off this rear end. I'm like, he needs to know I'm in a hurry. Okay. Like, but we're not in a hurry. You're not in a hurry because you're in the passenger seat. I'm driving. Princess. I'm in a hurry. All right. So that's all annoying to me. It's just as annoying as the grocery cart parker. You're pushing your cart through. You're in the frozen food section. Got to pick up some frozen pizzas, okay? And there's the dude. You know the dude, right? The dude who's parked his cart in front of the door and he's just staring in the window. You know, and you're like, how long is this guy going to be here before he acknowledges that I actually need to open the same door that he's been looking at for the last 30 seconds and hasn't decided. Like, I feel like I'm always looking out for others. Like, when Carrie gets mad at me because I drive fast, I'm like, yeah, but I'm a defensive driver. No, you're not. You're aggressive. I'm like, I know where everything around me is. I don't even need to use my blinker if I don't want to. Like, I like have a sixth sense when I pass a car of knowing exactly how many feet that car is behind me once I pass it. So I know, like, I don't just swerve in front of it. I know, okay, I've cleared it by 100 feet. I can get over. Like, I just always have when we get out of the car at the grocery store, I'm eyeing everything, always. Who's out here? What are they doing? Are my kids getting out of the truck? Is there some creep who's going to pull up in a brown van? You know, like someone getting carjacked. Like, I am very aware of my surroundings. So when I am in the grocery store, I always pay attention to who is around me and who might need to, access the item that I'm wanting to access. And if I haven't made a decision, I'm not going to stand in front of it to make the decision. I'm going to give it a little bit of space, Matt. Phil, I'm going to back up. I'm going to give it a buffer.
Yeah, you give it a step back, right?
Let's
Like
let this thing breathe.
We're looking, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like it's like, you know, 6th grade, you're at the middle school dance, you're at the sock hop. You really want to ask the girl to dance? Are you going to stand in her face and look at her the whole time? Or are you going to step back and think, do I want to ask her or do I want to set this chick over here? You know what I mean? You're going to freak them out. I don't want to freak the Pete's out. The pizza might want to be eaten by our family. I don't want to make him mad. And so I stand back and give it some grace. So what's more annoying? Left-handed guy who thinks he controls traffic or grocery cart guy who stands in front of the door and makes you say, excuse me, sir, do you mind? Sorry. You're like, well, you're the ones who's standing here. You should be apologizing to me. What's more annoying?
I'm probably still leaning to the left lane driver going slow, like on the interstate. That one just irks me.
Like at the grocery store, I can go somewhere else. I can go pick up another item. Like on the interstate, I'm stuck. Like I can't do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you can actually speak to the person in the grocery store to like, excuse me, right? You know, they know you want to get by on the highway, but they just don't care.
I can't
now.
You
like,
know,
are you not using your mirrors? Like,
right,
are you not looking?
No.
And Big Slam, I didn't say I don't use signals. I said I don't have to because I'm so far ahead. Now, if I'm getting over in front of somebody, of course I'm letting them know I'm coming over. Like, I mean, I'm not an idiot, but I'm just saying, like, I clock it all mentally. And the other thing, like when you're driving 3 lanes or 4 lanes, the thing that like the Ravenel Bridge in Charleston, for instance, right? Like if you're in the left lane and you're going to get into one of the middle lanes, how many people always just like swerve over the right lane going to get into the middle lane? Oh, I just click my blinker on and get over. Like I always look 2 lanes over because there might be somebody who's also trying to get over into that lane.
Yeah.
You know how many times that saved me over the years where like I'm looking over, I'm about to pass a guy, getting into the middle lane, and the guy in the right lane is just easing on over because there's nobody there, and he didn't think maybe the one in the left lane might be coming over. And you're like, dude, come on, man. So,
well, I mean, worse for me are the people that on the Thomas Cooper Bridge are just like trying to get that video of like, I'm in Charleston, look at me. And they're going slow and they're like this. And, oh, it drives me up a wall. Like,
you talking about the Ravenel Bridge?
Any bridge. It could be the Savannah Bridge. It could be any bridge.
Matt, let me ask you a question here. Have you ever driven the Ravenel Bridge from downtown Charleston into Mount Pleasant?
Yes.
If you see anybody videoing or taking pictures in the far right-hand lane where all the walkers are, they're not taking pictures of the view, man. Are you catching my drift here?
Good point. Good point.
They have no idea that Charleston Harbor is on the other side of what they're looking at. All right.
All right. So we're talking about pet peeves. My biggest pet peeve in the world. This is number 1 is people that don't hold the door open for women, no matter where you are.
I'm with you on
I've
that.
seen people like rush into like Chipotle, Moe's, wherever you're getting food, and like they're trying to beat the little old lady inside and like let the door slam on her. Like, dude, just open the door, say good morning, good afternoon, whatever, but let the woman go ahead of you. Like, it just makes me so mad.
Yeah. Always. I'm with you on that. I'm never in a hurry to get in the door. Anybody that's, you know how many times you've been caught in your life, guys? You think you're holding the door open and then they just keep coming. You're just kind of there. You know, you're like, oh shit, how you doing? Kiss my ass. Kiss his ass. Kiss your ass.
But then I get mad. I'm like, one of you should have the awareness enough to realize that I have stopped here to let 12 people come out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody does that, my little girls and my wife walks in, I'm like, I got it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me relieve you. Let me give that arm some rest.
I'll hustle up there. Like, right. Hey, let me get a pep in my step. Thank you.
Yeah. I've done my due. It's time for somebody else to take the mantle of door holder right now. It's just...
yeah. Or while we're on pet peeves, the other one is and I'm a big fan of when you go into grocery stores, the do-it-yourself checkout. Like especially when my kids are there, if it's not like a line, like I'll let them do some scanning and stuff. If it's really crowded, I'm like, no, there's people waiting. We gotta move this thing along here. But what does drive me crazy is when grocery cart guy who was standing in front of the windows for the last 2 hours trying to decide which white bread to pick decides to take a grocery cart that's overflowing and just clog up one of those scanners for 20 minutes. And this isn't scanning. Do you know why?
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, because you're scanning the logo on it, not the label, and they come over and they help them. And then they screw, you know what I mean? Like every third item, they're having to call for help. So everybody else who needs help, grocery cart guy's been here for 3 hours, chilling out by the frozen pizza section, has decided to take up one of these things for 20 minutes, and he can't figure out how to scan through it. I can't stand that either. So,
yeah, that one bothers me. The one where that gets me the most now, though, is because there's this. They're doing a lot of the self checkout at convenience stores.
Yeah.
Right. But you've got all these like fountain drinks and things like that. And every time it seems like I'm standing in line and like, okay, and have to get beer. Right. So I can't just run over there, get it and go. So I got to provide an ID and do the whole nine. And then it never fails. Somebody can't figure out how to scan their cup of ice or how to enter in the number for the fountain drink.
Mm-hmm.
They shut everything down because the only person running the line is the one who has to go help them out. And that is terrible, terrible.
100%.
I think you're right on it, Phil. I think this might be a new rule. If you're buying beer at a grocery store or a gas station, you can't do self-checkout. You got to go wait in the line because otherwise you're going to clog it up. You're going to have to, the little siren's going to go off. The light's going to go off and you just need to go. You need to wait. Just wait.
I do it. Yeah. And I go through the line anyway if I'm purchasing alcohol just because it's faster. You don't have to wait on anybody to get there. And at the same time, if it's in like the convenience store where they don't have much manpower anyway running the place, then you're not, being a butthole for having to call that person over there 3 times.
Oh, 100%. Man, we could do this all day. Ethan's right. Ethan is so right. Pet peeve who people who leave the shopping cart in parking spaces without at least putting them in. I always return the shopping cart, and if I'm close enough, I'll take it back in to this store and literally put it back where I got it from. I'm with you 100% on that. Number one, I think it looks like crap when there's shopping carts all over the place. He's right about they need to offer like grocery store etiquette in college. Like some of the stuff that people learn in college is just a bunch of gibberish crap. You know what I mean? Like these are things that actually get you far in life. Like here's you never know, you're returning the shopping cart. You want a job? Hell, I'll take one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and our grocery store that's close to my house, they're building a Lowe's Foods right around the corner, thankfully.
Oh.
Now Food Lion here has done a wonderful job over the years. And I'm big fans of the people in there, and they do have the self checkouts now. But before that, they didn't, and they have really struggled to maintain employees. They just can't find them, and I feel bad. We've gotten to know everybody in there, and I feel bad for them. And they're all good people, and they work hard, and a lot of them are overworked. And in saying that, we also have gotten to know who you do and don't go to. Like Roger, for instance. Roger's retired. If you've got groceries, like if you didn't just go in for 1 or 2 things, you had to go shopping. And Roger's the only aisle open. Might want to wait in line at the other ones. You're going to be there a while with Roger. Go ahead and open that case of beer, whatever it is that you just bought. And then, there's Susie. Hey, Susie. And she's like, bing, 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 bing.
Right.
I mean, you're out of there in record time. I mean, it's like there's a competition going on somewhere. Like they've got a chart of this thing. But Roger's like, take a shot, All right. Hey, do you like these? I do, Roger. Those are pretty tasty. What do you call them? They call them Oreos. Oh,
Cookies.
you know what I
Roger.
mean? Like,
They're called cookies.
you know. So how would you compare the 2% to the 1%? Well, you know, Raj, my kids are in the truck, and I've been in this line for almost a half hour, and we're through 3 items. So if you don't mind, you know, next time I'll just get skim milk since you don't know anything about that, apparently. Those type guys. Anyways,
I'll give you one more. I'll give you one more. This is before we get out of here. This is big pet peeve for me. If you're in a communal bathroom and you got to go number 2, give a courtesy flush every now and then. Don't just sit on it. Don't let us all linger in it. Just flush it, dude.
Yeah, it's a good point. You know, it's a really good point.
Courtesy flush.
There's some bad bathrooms out there. You know, God bless Buc-ee's. You know how much money those people make a year? Have you seen the if you go to the website right now?
Oh, they're employees.
The bathroom attendants make like $50,000, and they've got full benefits just to go in there and clean them, keep them clean. You know,
Right? Yeah. I mean, they do pay their people well.
Pay them real. Yeah, Carrie and I have thought about, like, let's see here. You're in charge of an entire medical company, and all you do is hire people, fire people, and stress out. You can make $250,000 a year running the Buc-ee's in Florence. Like, maybe we should move up the road, you know?
Right.
Sling some brisket and some Slim Jims and keep a couple of people happy with the bathrooms and get out of here in a few years.
JB's gonna be the most efficient product scanner in Buc-ee's history.
Yeah, dude. Be moving that stuff. All right. It is 10:30. We've done nothing but waste everybody's time for the last 25 minutes. But when we return, we will actually talk some football. Brought to you by Palm Casual, the best outdoor furniture that money can buy. PalmCasual.com. We'll be right back.
Welcome to SEC Sunday Night, part of the Chief Sports Network. Debuting Sunday, June 1st at 8 p.m. on the Chief Sports app and the Chief Sports YouTube page. Hosted by Rob Williams and Craig McMichael, SEC Sunday Night will feature the conversations, have the information, and host the guests that make this storied conference great. Join us June 1st for SEC Sunday Night on the Chief Sports Network.
There's nothing like Saturday in South Carolina. However you enjoy Gamecock football, Gamecock Traditions has a long-standing legacy of being a part of your game day. From tailgates to touchdowns, Gamecock Traditions has what you need and want with our beloved Block C logo. Get into Gamecock Traditions in Lexington or the Village at Sand Hill, or visit GamecockTraditions.com and have it shipped to your doorstep. We look forward to taking care of your family. Go Gamecocks.
Nana's Porch presents a Southern staple delivered right to your doorstep. Nana's Porch locally crafted pimento cheese has been a hit for years at weddings, tailgates, and other events. Now you can order online and have it sent to your home. Visit nanasporch.com. That's nanasporch.com and click the pimento cheese tab to choose between their original pimento cheese and their jalapeno smoked pimento cheese set. nanasporch.com, man, that's good.
You're tuned into Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show, presented by Resto Pros of the Midlands, part of the Chief Sports Network. Go Gamecocks!
records from the guys you just saw on the screen there. We'll get into more of that here in just a little bit. Powered by Electric Bikes of Charleston. Welcome back, electricbikescharleston.com, where folks come from everywhere to shop the best of the best of the best. Thanks to the Wilkins family. They are number one in South Carolina, electricbikescharleston.com. Matt, you've been at camp. What have you seen this week?
Yes, I was at camp yesterday, and camp's been pretty good. You've read all the reports that Hale and Alex have put out there. If you're a member of the Big Spur, you've heard them talk about camp. But I really wanted to go yesterday. Yesterday there were some big time players there, so I spent the majority of my time on 7-on-7. Hale was kind of covering the offensive line, defensive lineman stuff, but I just got to tell you guys, it's an impressive setting they have there. Like JV said, this is the first time they've ever used the stadium for 7-on-7, and you had the old proving ground 7-on-7. You had the indoor, the practice fields, and then the offensive linemen were just in Gamecock Park tearing it up, which was fun to watch. The first kid I'm going to start with is a 2027 defensive back, Josh Dobson.
Mm-hmm.
He's something else. He's not the biggest kid. Kind of looks similar from body style to Brian Rowe, who is also kind of tinier, but quick twitch, everything you'd want. There were a couple plays that he made were just wow. One where he watched the quarterback's eyes, he let the wide receiver he was covering move to the safety, and then he turned in a diagonally ran backwards and deflected a touchdown that I thought there was no way he could get to it. And then after that, they tested him again, very next play, and he got interception in the end zone. And he played offense. He was quick, twitchy. If there's a better cornerback in America at the high school level, I want to see it. And that's the vibe I got from talking to other folks there yesterday. So Josh Dobson, he's like Donovan Murph when I left last year. Find a way to get that kid and do anything you got to.
Have you heard anything about where Carolina stands with him? He's from Catawba Ridge.
Yeah, he's from Catawba Ridge. I think South Carolina's in his top 2. That's basically the gist that I got there. I don't know if what's going to happen 2027 dollar-wise. Rev share, that'll be the first year. Like rev share is really going to be important, but I would allocate some funds for him. Noah Clark he's as big as a house, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that in a good way. Looks like he's got some baby fat on him still, but that's going to go away within the first 6 weeks on whatever college program he steps into. He was chopping it up with the team, chopping it up with the coaches. He did not participate; he just watched, but he was right beside Travian for a lot of that offensive line, defensive line camp, and Travian was talking to him. He was getting excited. He was getting pumped up. His team participated, but he just came to watch. And I think sometimes when you already got that offer, just having that quality time with the coaches is a big deal. And I think that South Carolina probably leads for him right now. You got to survive NC State official visit. He's going on, I think he's going today. So you got to survive that official visit. We'll see. They might throw a lot of money, but he's very comfortable with South Carolina. PJ Dean, he's the kid that everyone talked about as the offensive lineman. Georgia talked him into playing defensive tackle. He looks like a linebacker, defensive end. He has lost a lot of weight, but in a good way. he looks like Melvin Ingram looked to me when Melvin came as a freshman. And I know that personally because Melvin was on my intramural basketball team. So I have a pretty good way to compare this. I don't think he's 6'5". I'm 6'3". He didn't look 2 inches taller than me, just standing next to the kid. Bear Woods, Cutter's little brother. I was talking to Cutter yesterday. We're just kind of watching the games, and Cutter came out to support Westside. And Bear has grown 5 or 6 inches in the last couple months. And Cutter was like, yeah, it's crazy. He's taller than me now. So if you all remember when you were, in high school, when you hit that growth spurt and you just didn't really know what to do with your body, that's what he kind of.
I don't remember that, Matt, unfortunately, but I hear you.
Well, I went from 5'5" to 6'2". sophomore to junior year. And, he's going into his sophomore year, I think, this year. He's a lefty. If you've ever watched West Side, you know that their offense is a lot of dink and dunk and spread the field out and taking their shots. He looked good. It was a nice, easy release. I think that he's one to watch as he continues to grow into his body, be around Cutter, see what college is all about. And Gamecock coaches were talking to him a good bit too. So one to watch down the road. His wide receivers didn't do him any favors. He had probably 4 or 5 interceptions, and 3 or 4 of them were just right off the hands. And that happens a lot in 7-on-7 because it's such tight quarters where if you drop a pass and it gets tipped in the air, it's probably going to get caught by the other team. Jaden Bryant, he just was out there hanging out. He did the offensive line, defensive line camp, and then he went over to support his team in 7-on-7.
Mm-hmm.
He looks to me just like Jordan Birch looked at the same age. Jordan was from Florence. I know Jordan, his family, or not. He was in Florence and he went to Columbia. But yeah, Jordan Birch was a Florence kid originally. And looking at some other stuff here, I really enjoyed watching Travian and Lonnie Teasley coach those guys. They were getting after it. You can tell why players like Lonnie Teasley and why they like Travian. I mean, Travian was telling his guys just bull rush, bull rush, bull rush. And Lonnie was like, you bull rush, go ahead. And Travian's like, I'm 7 for 8 on bull rushes. Like, I mean, they're smart. They're thinking about this stuff. And there are some kids that got some offers. I'm going to check with what Hale put on the big square. I haven't, I can't remember off the top of my head all the kids that got offers yesterday, but there were 3 or 4 from offensive line, defensive line. And then today is another good day for South Carolina 7-on-7, and Camp and Alex and Hale are there again today. And one of the good things is they'll get to see a lot of these kids coming in there for their official visits, and unofficials. They'll be around the practice facility today. They'll be out watching the 7-on-7 championship. So you'll get a feel for their size. And like I said on the Big Spur yesterday, I felt like a lot of these early official visits were kind of like moving day in a golf tournament. Let's just see if we can get in the right spot with these guys and put ourselves in contention. Well, this weekend's setting up to be Sunday at Augusta. There's a laundry list of good players that are going to be on campus, and momentum's a crazy thing. So we'll see what happens. But I think Sequel Patterson got added yesterday. Jamel House, so I got to talk about him. He is bulked up considerably. Yeah, he looks good. He looks good.
Yeah, I've heard that. This is a, I think Hale earlier in the week, we had him on and he thought, I know Trey Aiken's not making it in, but he thought maybe 2 or 3 guys would end up not being on that list. Turns out they're all on it, except for Trey Aiken, and you mentioned Patterson. So it's outstanding. There's a name, the Cigar Kid, the running back from Burns. He's in today for 7-on-7s, top 200 player in the country. There's not him and Marcus Lattimore are 2 different running backs, for anybody wondering, just because they're from Burns. They are different. But, I do think it's pretty important that if they want him, and I know that they're in it for him, South Carolina, from a running back standpoint, needs to, maybe pick up the pace a little bit as far as the better ones go that come out of this state of South Carolina. Now, yesterday we got news that Marquise Henderson got kicked off the team up there at Clemson. Maybe South Carolina knew something the rest of us didn't know. I know there was a lot of people kind of banging the table to go get that kid. They might have avoided a little bit of a debacle there. Who knows? Hell, I mean, who knows where he ends up, right? But running backs in this state, you'd like to see Carolina, if they want him, you'd like to see him get him. And from what I understand, they got a pretty good shot with this one too. Have you heard anything about him?
I know they want him. I mean, it's not a question of want. I saw him last year. I haven't seen him this year, but last year, I mean, he did not look like a sophomore, rising junior. Whatever age he is, he's good. He actually played some wide receiver, flexed out. It's hard for running backs to get much done in 7-on-7 work because it's much more passing centered. But I like the kid. He looks like $1 million. You watch his highlights, he looks strong. He had some injury bugs early in his career, but he's another guy. I'd have to see the running backs that are ranked ahead of him to really say they're better, because He looks like a stud. I mean, his legs are built like tree trunks, and that's what you need a running back.
Right. There's an article that was up this morning on 3, which obviously is a competitor of 24/7 Sports, but we will certainly give them some credit. None of this is earth-shattering information as far as the list of visitors go this weekend. Just how profile could be as high profile as anywhere going on in college football this weekend. I don't have the list, Matt, for every school and how many visitors they're bringing in and the quality of those players or anything like that. And there's a dead period that is coming in hot. So they got work to do this weekend, but they mentioned Darius Grayson, Amari Matthews, Landon Duckworth, Marion Watkins, and Sequel Patterson. Carolina, I think everybody knows, feels really good about all of them. And that includes Darius Gray. I mean, they like their situation as much as you can like a situation without having specific intel that leans your way. I mean, they've done all they can do. But in the quick hits underneath it, Desmond Green, a kid from Timberland High School, beautiful but tiny, St. Stephen, South Carolina, that's his hometown. Chad Simmons mentions that the Florida Gators all of a sudden are in it. And, of course, South Carolina is in the game with him. Georgia is still in the game with him. But the Florida Gators have entered the chat here, which is interesting. Chad Simmons also mentioned that schools are not giving up on Jazavian Currents, although I think we would all encourage those programs to do that, because the Matt, your intel is probably, I would imagine it's similar to mine, maybe probably a little bit better, but it's the same nonetheless. Like Jazavian Currents is a pretty safe bet for the Gamecocks.
He's pretty locked in based on what I've been told.
I don't think that people need too much to worry about there. And then they also mentioned Samarian Wingo, but Chad Simmons mentioned something that has been mentioned around here, and he's kind of backing that up. Florida and Miami seem to be, more at the top of the list. But this weekend could change it for this kid a little bit. You know what I mean? And the question, he's going to have a great time on campus at South Carolina. There's no question about how the visit's going to go. It's going to be fine. The question is, does it, when he leaves, does it move the needle to be, because he's going to go home and the dust is going to settle, right? And it's going to be like, hey, remember how you felt before you went there. And that's clearly very fair. This kid's a good player. They're very smart and very savvy about how they do these things. I asked Hale this question the other day, and he kind of, in a Hale way, kind of sidestepped it, but I'll be a little bit more bold about this. Landon Duckworth, I think they are really confident, regardless of whether he came in unofficially this weekend, about their future with Landon Duckworth. I think Landon Duckworth's purpose on campus this weekend has less to do with Landon Duckworth and more to do with others who will be also on campus this weekend. What do you think about that?
I think that's spot on, JB. With Landon Duckworth coming in, let's not forget, he's coming across the country today to be on campus.
Right.
Going to go right over Alabama to get here. And that's a big deal. And I think that he is being brought in to recruit. I think that Jazavian Currents is being brought in to recruit. I mean, you're going to have a bunch of commitments there. And I wouldn't even be surprised if the Harris brothers show up. And, they might be there as well as unofficial visitors. I know some stuff that they've been working on. And this is the weekend of the summer. And we talk about it every year. This is going to be the most fun weekend. I think some of these guys might even come by the wing eating contest tomorrow. They're going to show these kids what being at South Carolina is all about. And I can just tell you that there are times, and JB, you've mentioned it, when you go on an official visit, you go, visit a school and you talk to the players and they're like, it's okay. Like, that's not the case at South Carolina. Like, it will be a fantastic trip. And I'm excited. I'm going to try and get there later on today. We'll see. If I want to see some of these kids coming in, how they're interacting. But I don't know if I'll be able to squeeze out of here because it's not really me, it's my wife. You know, we can say we're leaving at 12 and it might be, 1:30.
Yeah, I got it. Trust me, been there. Kids, I'll be off here at 12. We're gonna get out of here by 12:15, 12:30. Where are my shoes?
Yeah.
What have y'all been doing for the last 4 hours? Well, mommy said that they were outside. Well, mommy's in trouble. Anyways, all right. Good report. We'll keep our eyes on this. Obviously, Hale and Alex have you covered. Head to the bigspur.com for more. All right, quick timeout. We got to get one in here. We got to get one in. Phil, you ready to hit the button? Let's do that. Powered by Electric Bikes of Charleston, built by our dear friends at the Barn Dominium Company, thebarndoco.com. We'll be right back.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Disaster comes uninformed. During and after natural disasters or accidents, there can be a heavy loss to property. It can become extremely difficult to bounce back to what you knew before. Having your home or office destroyed or damaged by water, fire, smoke, or mold affects your personal and business lifestyle. Resto Pros of the Midlands is here to help. Open 24/7. Call them when you need them. 803-493-0170.
Set up a screen, and it goes to Brewer. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Brewer. His second of the day. Pitches it to Brewer. Turns the corner. Touchdown, number 3 of the afternoon.
Hey folks, it's Mike Morgan for Ryan Brewer Fence. That's right, you know the former Gamecock legend as a terrific college football player. Well, I know him as that too. I also know him as the guy that runs a great business, one of the best businesses in South Carolina. How do I know that? Well, for one, I'm actually a client of Ryan's. I had my home in Columbia done years ago, and his crew did an outstanding job, just as he does for everybody else. Whether you're in the market for a fence, railings, columns, or anything in between, their craftsmanship, their experience, and service second to none. Ryan Brewer Fence has over 15 years of experience with consultation and installation of residential and commercial fencing and railings. Rest assured your job will be done with an unparalleled level of expertise, and it's done on time, and they do it right the first time. Again, you're not going to do any better than Ryan Brewer. Ryan Brewer Fence. The website is ryanbrewer.net. Set up an appointment today. Tell him Mike sent you.
It's 10:50, final segment, hour one. Mike Morgan is coming up at 11 o'clock. He'll join the party here with Mad Dog Monax. You know the drill. Don't piss the guy off. And King of Late Night, Matt Anderson. You'll be able to meet these guys tomorrow if you haven't before. The wing eating competition. 2 years ago, we made a major mistake at home team. Well, not we. I had nothing to do with it. I just watched it all unfold. But I remember those wings came out. I said, damn, this thing's look hot, man. And I was standing by Xavier Leggett, and he picked one up, and he said, damn, man, you burnt my damn tongue. I said, when did y'all pull these out of the fryer? Oh, we wanted to make sure they were hot for him. Well, you successfully did that. I think Vershawn ate like 25. It's like the guy didn't even, like it. His taste buds didn't even acknowledge heat. Everybody else just couldn't eat them all. So I know last year that was a major point of emphasis, which was y'all mind letting them cool down a little bit before you pull them out of hot grease, whatever you got them in there. We'll get to some Omaha stuff coming up here in a little bit too. In hour number 2, we've got the World Series beginning tomorrow night, the championship series of the World Series with Coastal and the Bayou Bengals of LSU, the hottest team in the country, the best team in the country. Maybe the hottest team is also the best team. We'll find out. But this is kind of how you draw it up. So we'll get to a lot of that coming up in in hour number 2. But I mentioned the article on ESPN from Chris Lowe, who I think is maybe the best writer ever in college football. I mean, he's up there. Those guys, him and Tony Barnhart and those guys, those are my guys. You know what I mean? Some of these new school guys, they can kick rocks. But he had college football's 10 most unbreakable records. Number 1, Oklahoma's 47-game winning streak. Number 2, Barry Sanders' magical season, which, by the way, he's right on number 1. Nobody's going to win 47 or 48 games in a row. He says, yes, his single season record of 2,628 rushing yards was challenged last year by Ashton Jeanty, who ended up being 27 yards shy. Can you believe that? Whoever coaches Boise State, they should be fired. Should have given that guy another carry or two. He said, but there's a catch. Sanders' total came in just 11 games. Jeanty played in 14. What's more, bowl stats didn't count when Sanders was playing, which is why. Why did bowl stats not count? Like they didn't play the game? Never understood that. And he had an additional 222 yards against my inherited Wyoming Cowboys in the Holiday Bowl. So if those yards were added, Sanders' total jumps to 2850. What seems untouchable is Sanders' NCAA record of 238.9 rushing yards per game. Jeanty averaged 185.8 last year. Number 3, he had Florida State's top 5 finishes. The Noles finished in the top 5 of every AP poll from 1987 to 2000, which is wild. That's 14 in a row. Oklahoma, number 4, Oklahoma's wishbone onslaught. He said in 1971, Barry Switzer as the OC, Oklahoma averaged a staggering 470. This is crazy. 472.4 rushing yards per game. Wow. Could you imagine?
That's wild.
That's just crazy, man. Number 5, throwing it to the wrong team. Uh-oh. Not all records are good. Florida quarterback John Reeves threw an NCAA record 9 picks in a 38-12 loss to Auburn in 1969. Well, I'll be damned. That's the year the Gamecocks won the ACC. Ain't good. He was college football's all-time leading passer with over 7,500 yards when he left Florida in 71. Selected in the first round. I didn't know he passed in 2017. Wow. Yeah, now if you throw 3 or 4, you're out of there. In number 6, Derek Thomas's sack parade. It's generational pass rusher, they said. As a senior linebacker at Alabama in 1988, Thomas gobbled up the opposing quarterback's 27 sacks.
That's a lot.
52 in his career. He passed away in 2002, remember, from a car wreck. Number 7 on this list, top 10 most unbreakable college football records, Antonio Perkins, hat trick. If a player returns 1 kick for a touchdown, he's probably not going to get a chance to return another one. And if he returns 2, the only way he's going to touch the ball again is after it goes out of bounds. 3? He did it in 2003, first player in NCAA history. 84, 74, and 65 yards. Oklahoma beat UCLA. Three kick returns for a touchdown. Marcus Allen, number 8. Marcus Allen's amazing run is what it says. In his record-setting 1988 season, he rushed for more than 200 yards in 8 of 11 games. 23-42 total on the season. But he had 5 straight 200-yard games. 5 straight 200-yard games. That's pretty crazy at Southern Cal. Pat Mahomes at number 9. Yeah, y'all remember that? Baker Mayfield in Texas Tech. Pat Mahomes, 66-59, that 2016 game.
Yeah.
Played through a separated shoulder, fractured left wrist, suffered in the first half. I forgot about that. Mahomes set an FBS record, 819 total yards of offense in that game. 734 yards through the air, 85 yards on the ground, 7 touchdowns, 5 passing, 2 rushing. Might be right about that. And no upsetting Nick Saban is number 10 What exactly are they getting at here? Supposed to, Nick Saban won a slew of games against nationally ranked teams during his career, 104. But his streak of beating the teams he was supposed to beat during the 17 seasons was unmatched. They won 100 consecutive games, the Tide did, against unranked foes under Nick Saban, and went 14 years without losing a game to an unranked opponent. That's crazy. Crazy. So Saban 123-4 overall at Alabama against unranked opponents. And then they got a bunch of honorable mentions underneath there. Like Florida is still alive. Florida has scored in 461 straight games. That's a pretty good record, man. So anyways, there's a bunch more. But that got us thinking. What is the most unbreakable Gamecock football record? There's some from the message boards. Matt has some. Mad Dog has some. And I've got some. If we hit a timeout and get to the end of the hour, Mike Morgan has some too. I have one that I guarantee you will never be broken. Not one that any of you think you're thinking about. Guarantee you. It's a guarantee. Okay? Guarantee, like if you're on 26 today, wherever you're going, somebody in the left lane, they're going to think that they're a cop. Guaranteed. Okay? That's how much guaranteed this is. Gamecock Traditions is guaranteed to have the most Under Armour gear in South Carolina. You can head to GamecockTraditions.com and get your Carolina football gear now. Maybe you want to dress nicely before you go eat wings tomorrow at CB18 down in 5 points. Gamecock Traditions in Lexington. Mike Morgan up next. What are the most unbreakable Gamecock football records in a Dream 8 for Omaha? This will be a fun final hour. We'll be right back.
Home fitness has evolved. With Matrix, now there's no limit to the ways you can chase your goals. It's time to make your next workout whatever you want it to be. You can use all of your subscriptions or none at all. Take on exclusive HIT programs or move through immersive HD destination footage while you sweat.
Visit CharlestonFitnessEquipment.com.
Remarkable, 5-star, sensational. These are just some of the terms used to describe nationally renowned chef William Turner out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Originally from Georgetown, South Carolina, and a diehard Gamecocks fan, Chef Will made his way out west and has served parties from every state and many countries from across the globe. If you're in Arizona or have plans elsewhere, visit ChefWilliamTurner.com to inquire about private events and more. From MLB to NFL, the chef has served everyone. He's won all the awards, done all the press. There's a reason for that. Food from every culture, all of it first class. ChefWilliamTurner.com and Chef Will Turner on socials. You won't believe what you see. You really won't believe how it tastes.
We got started in 1979. Because we're a manufacturer, we're able to control our costs. That's why we like to manufacture as much of the product as we can, because in our factory stores we can offer a competitive edge over other people around the country.
30-day money-back guarantee. That's a big deal with us. I mean, we give 30 days to do anything. I mean, return it, change it, get a different color, get your money back.
When you pull into a store and it says Palm Casual, you know you're at a factory store.
This is my dirt.
Welcome back to Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show. Presented by the Barn Dominium Company and Resto Pros of the Midlands. Hour 2 starts now.
7. This is my dirt, these are my fields, where I harvest what I plant. That little pond, I catch bluegill. I built that barn with my 2 hands, where I raise my babies, a piece of me. Now this ain't just a piece of land. The money be great, but I can't part ways with a life that works. You can't put a greenback dollar on what it's worth. This is my...
All right, it's the final hour of our work week. That means we have one more week, and then we'll take a timeout for a couple of them and then be back for SEC Media Days. But we are back from hour 1 to hour 2. Phil will be back in just a moment. That's the king of late night, and that's the Golden Tones. I don't have a neat nickname. I'm just JB, and we're here until noon. And we have unbreakable records. I teased it. I have the most off the radar, unbreakable record at South Carolina. It'll never be broken, Mike. It'll never be broken because everybody's thinking on the field. Let me give you a number. 85. Well, where'd it go? Just lost it.
Yep. I had a feeling you were going that way, David.
85, 199. Where were y'all on October the 6th, 2012?
Probably in Williams-Brice Stadium.
That's it. That's the record. It can't be. They're downsizing everything. Now, you can't get 85,199 people in Williams-Brice Stadium anymore. So I win the game. Game's over.
You're assuming they never. You're assuming they never build it back up again.
That's true. They certainly could.
You think?
It's quite possible.
Yeah. But for now, this game's over. I've won it. Poor Todd Ellis is getting eaten up because.
Oh, no. The 73 picks.
Well, here's the good news, Mike. So I did throw this on the message boards this morning with the Big Spur, and the first person that chimed in claimed it was 66. I said, you know what, Todd will take it.
66.
It was 73.
73.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember one of my first shows in Columbia, we did something similar to this. I think we were talking about greatest quarterbacks in Gamecock history. So this was pre-Connor Shaw, Garcia, a lot of the ones that would be ranked up there. And someone called in and said, how about Todd? And there was like a litany of calls. How could you say the guy who set the national record for interceptions is the best of all time? And we're quick to point out the 73, which is a pretty unbreakable record for sure. I don't know how you would break that.
You won't. You won't even be allowed to play that many snaps if you throw that.
No. And it's not like it was like 100 touchdowns and 73 picks. I think it's 49 touchdowns and 73 picks.
That's exactly right.
Which might be the worst ratio in the history of college football.
Tommy Beecher tried against NC State to get a head start on that record.
Yeah, well, you just made my point for me. Spurrier was like, Tommy, Steven, you can play again.
Yeah. Steve had a quick hook. Steve had a quick hook. It's funny that came up in the midst of the last time I was with you. One of our listeners in chat row said, when are we going to get Joe Morrison in the Hall of Fame? And I texted a guy who covered him as closely as anybody back in the day, Teddy Hefner.
Yeah.
And he's like, I thought he was in the Hall of Fame. I say, he's not in the Gamecock Hall of Fame. He might be in the South Carolina Hall of Fame, but he's not in the Gamecock Hall of Fame.
He is in the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame.
Right.
Like the state. And
yeah.
And I vote in that, and I can't remember what year it was, maybe 2014. It's been a while, but he got in there a few years back. But he is not in the Athletics Hall of Fame, which is interesting. There's a lot of people that aren't in the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame. A lot of them, too, are newer names, because they didn't really hit the golden era. I mean, there's a litany of guys from the last 15 years that you could probably make a case for that just aren't in there.
Well,
and in due time, they will be.
It's disingenuous to have that conversation and not bring up the steroids, because I have to think that's part of the factor.
Yeah, I would
right.
think so.
The scandal. Because if you look at the record and what he did at the time, I mean, I don't know how many Gamecock coaches you're going to put in the Hall of Fame, but I would think Joe Moe would be in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the greatest coach all time is not in yet, and it's Steve Spurrier, obviously. Lou Holtz isn't
But that's
in there.
we know Steve's that's a Steve thing as much as anything else.
Yeah, I think the conversation, and we won't get too far off this Unbreakable Records thing for anybody wondering, because this is actually a pretty fun conversation.
Oh, we could go 3 hours with this. I told you, I came locked and loaded, Jamie. I didn't just do one sport.
There's actually, well, the one in there. Well, let me just pause that. Let me not get
pause that.
We've already wandered off into slow drivers in the left lane and grocery cart guy who stares at the product the whole time that you're trying to get. You know, the pet peeves of life. You know, I don't have the criteria for the University of South Carolina's Hall of Fame. I don't know if they have a specific criteria other than performance, but I will say this. Okay, I understand the steroid stuff wholeheartedly, totally get it. I could also make the claim that he, besides the 69 championship, literally provided the only ounce of credibility to Gamecock football that there was. And off the field, or in addition to that, he gave Carolina a brand by creating 2001. Right. You know what I mean? Like, there were other things like Black stuff didn't exist before Joe Morrison.
No, I mean, he was, look, I wasn't around. I wasn't old enough really to appreciate, you know, I saw a couple Gamecock games on TV. You were probably in diapers, Jamie, when all this was happening, or pretty close to it.
Yeah, I never wore diapers, but definitely I was young.
That's another story. Well, Depend undergarments will be on order in just a few years.
As they say, I was just born pissing excellence, Mike.
Yes, exactly. You know. Get back into life with Depend, Jamie. That's all I can say. No, I mean, but what I did know is that he was he was a cool cat, and everything I heard about him. Again, I've been fortunate to work with and around people that date way back before us and can tell you about, or could, some of them are no longer with us, sadly, could tell you about Gamecock history from more than 50 years ago, you know. So I knowing what I know about Joe Morrison, I don't know, just seems to me like he should be in the Hall of Fame, but we're not here to run a campaign for that. But somebody brought it up in chat row, and I didn't think about it until we went over that. And like I said, even some of the people that covered him professionally for the state newspaper and other outlets, they thought he was in the Hall of Fame, but he's in the South Carolina Hall of Fame, not the Gamecock Hall of Fame. Two different halls.
I mean, he's the only coach that I'm aware of that used to walk out of the ballpark after games and smoke cigarettes and drink beer with the fans. I know that because he did it with my dad.
Yeah.
So, you know, thanks, Joe. I've got a signed picture right here hanging on this wall of Joe Morrison that he signed, gave to my dad one time, and when my dad passed, it became mine. So I'll never take that down. All right, here's a couple of things that I've got, some different areas. I'm really curious, Mike, obviously, as the voice of the Gamecock basketball and baseball program and calling Carolina football games on TV for so long, being around the program, I know you've got interesting twists on this. I'm going to roll mine off and step out of the way and let you and Matt's prepared for it too.
Okay.
The one record that you never want to see broken is the 21 straight losses. So let's just get that off the mat real quick, okay? If that record's ever broken, that in today's day and age, just shut the program down and close the bridges while you're at it. That's number one. I don't think George Rogers 5204 ever gets broken.
I have that number one.
That's mine as well.
And I would even put number one, his all-purpose yardage, 5932. Like you don't. There's too many reasons. The draft, changes to the game. You throw it more, injuries, players transferring in and out. It's just.
Well, let me put it in perspective, Jamie. Number two on that list, behind George's 5,204 rushing yards, is Brandon Bennett at 3,055.
That's right.
So Big George, who was my first TV partner at Carolina, has a over 2,000 yard cushion on the record. That's.
And we're not running it more. We're running it less.
We're running it less and less. I mean, to put it in perspective now, Lattimore, obviously the injury shut his career down. But even if it didn't, he would have left early after his junior year. So he finished with 2,677. That's a great career. That's a great career. But Georgia's 5,002. And by the way, they played 11 games, not 12 back then. And you didn't go 6-5, 6-6, and get to a bowl game back then. George was a machine. He was an absolute beast.
To put it in perspective, Lattimore has half of George Rogers rushing yards.
That's what I'm saying.
He also has 7 more touchdowns, which was part of the mystique of Marcus Lattimore.
Yes, it was.
He was always in the end zone.
And I have that down as well. That made my top 10.
I've got one more, and I'm not sure if any of you even know who this name is, but not just you. I'm talking about everybody in general. There's no way this record ever gets broken. I actually could put I'm saying this as confidently as you are about Big George's. 1983, Mike Dura, 179 tackles for the Gamecock defense.
Okay. It's funny you went there because I have James Seawright in a game against NC State in 1984 racked up 29 tackles.
Oh.
That made my top 5. 29 tackles.
I don't think in my lifetime that record will be broken, but I could in some strange way envision it also happening like bizarrely. But I'm not I think it's like a 0.0001% chance. But just if you had a guy who had a day against like a lesser opponent or something like that. But I don't know. I
mean, when's the last time a Gamecock had 20 tackles in a game? It's 29.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of tackle. Boy, he had to be in the ice for a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
else?
What else
you got?
Do you have a top 5 list? Is that what you have?
I actually have just football. I have 10.
What are they?
Well, I wanted you to finish before I.
No, I'm done. I wanted it. I took a negative record. I took.
Well, I had that as that was on the 21 straight losses. Obviously, if you want to go team record. I mean, hell, beating Clemson 5 in a row. That's a pretty good team record.
Is anybody reading the chat box?
Who are you, JC? Are you like Mr. Squirrel now?
No, I haven't looked at it. I just looked and Steven said,
oops, I crap my pants. Yes, that's an old SNL skit. Very well played, Steven. Well played.
How about that?
I made the Depend undergarments. It was fair game. Steven just tacked on and said, Jamie's going to start wearing Oops, I crap my pants. That's why I started wearing Oops, I crap my pants. Very good. But this is back when SNL was funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now it's just like, let's take political shots. And then if humor comes in, great. But we're not really about being funny and creative anymore. But that's when it was a funny show. All right. Do you want, I'll go in no particular. I had a hard time prioritizing these, but I'll give you some others that are, well, let me start with the top 5 in no particular order. Okay. So it's Big George, 5,204 yards.
Yep.
Alshon Jeffrey in 2010 had a season. I'm not saying this is unbreakable. I'm just saying it could last a while. Mm-hmm. He caught 88 passes for 1,517 yards.
Yes.
Okay. That's Sterling Sharp didn't do it. Robert Brooks didn't do it. I mean, we can go down the line of receivers, but 88 grabs and 1,517 yards is pretty damn strong. Pretty damn strong. So that made my list. Here's another one. Connor Shaw, 73 touchdown passes. Don't let that sneak up on you.
Yeah,
73 touchdown passes is damn good. Damn good. I think Ellis threw for 49. Tannehill threw for 50. Oh, here, I got it. Yeah, Tannehill and Garcia threw for 62. Bentley threw for 63. Connor Shaw threw for 73 for a guy that we think of a lot of times as a runner because he made some really good runs, but 73 touchdown passes.
I don't want to play. I hate doing this when you're on the air. I'm almost positive the 73 includes rushing touchdown.
Oh, does it really? Okay. When I looked it up, it just said passing, but these are internet sources.
I hate doing things like that because
I don't mind. No. I want to be right. I want to be right.
I'm pretty sure. Connor,
so you think that's total?
So Steve had 62, and I'm pretty sure
Steven Garcia was 62. Yeah.
No, I think that's total.
Garcia has 47.
Okay, so these are combined. I apologize.
I'm pretty sure that I know Tannehill threw for 62, and I'm almost positive Shaw was like 56-ish.
So 73 total. Okay, so let's go with that number then. I mean, Lenoris is not going to be around much longer.
No.
So 73 career touchdowns as a quarterback. Does that get broken anytime soon?
I think it could. Because just look at Spencer Rattler. He has 37 career touchdown passes in 2 years at South Carolina. If you go get, 3-4 years, and the way that you're getting extra years now just for enjoying college, but I think that the big number is in a 4-year span. In a 4-year span, I think it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, I would say soon. I don't know. I don't think. Is it unbreakable?
Well, yeah, I mean, technically none of these are unbreakable. I think it's going to if you get to 73 or you get in that area, you're probably good enough to go pro early is the thing.
Yeah.
And if you're not, you got to start a lot of games to get to 73 total touchdowns. So that's why that number, and I'm sorry I said passing. That's my bad on the reading of that. I got some more. Don't ask me all the names here, but there are 3 players that have 4 interceptions in a game. 3 former Gamecocks. Do you think anybody's ever going to pick off 5 in a single game?
That was on my list, Mike.
You had that too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with a couple of the names, but 4 picks in a game. So that means somebody has to go for 5. I don't see that happening.
No, no. 5. When's the last time South Carolina had 5 picks in a game as a team? Was it Quincy Carter, or has there been a game?
No, they did in Quincy. Yeah,
they did Quincy in for 5.
Yeah,
that was the end of Quincy's.
What about when Israel had 3 against Georgia? Were there any more that game, or did he have all 3 of them?
I think he had all 3.
I think that was it. It was just that was 2019.
Yeah,
he's in Kwamu. I mean,
I think it's Oklahoma this year. Oklahoma struggled pretty badly.
I'm looking here. You said it was 4 in a game by one player, Mike.
Yeah,
3 different players.
The 3 different players did it.
Okay, I've got. Oh, here it is. Okay, I got it. Yeah, so it hasn't happened since 1984. Bryant Gilliard did it against Florida State. Pat Watson versus Wake in 1968, I guess I'm saying this name right. Bayard Pickett versus the Citadel on New Year's Eve, 1949.
I think he was a folk singer in San Francisco back in the 60s.
I think you're onto something there. You might be right about that. But because you've got how many who led the team last year? Was it Kilgore did with 4 last year, right? So Jalen Foster had 5 in a season in 21. I'm looking at the record book. The last one to go.
Robinson had a big run too with interceptions.
He had 4. The most in a season ever was Gilliard in 1984 with 9. No shocker because he had 4 in a game. The most we've had this century. Coe had 6 in 04. And I remember that now. Arturo had 6 in 97. Brad Edwards had 8 in 1987. Mike, you know Brad Edwards quite well.
Mm-hmm. And multiple picks in a game against Clemson.
Yes,
and Sheldon Brown, I think, are the only 2 to ever do that.
Yeah, that 87 game against Clemson went to the end zone. Very popular play.
Yes.
Bo Davies had 8 in 1970. These are all Hall of Famers. So,
all right, I've got another one.
Okay.
This is the obvious. Spencer Rattler, 6 touchdown passes in a game, and he did it against a quality opponent. This is not picking on, Pacific Azusa or something. This is Tennessee against a top 10 Tennessee team, 6 touchdown passes. So that's the record by itself. Technically, somebody could do it against Furman or somebody, but that's
What's Savell have? Who did he do it against? Savell to Sydney when they had the 5 each.
It was
Florida Atlantic 2006.
Yeah, it was again.
If you're throwing to
Sisters
Sydney
of the
Rice, I
Poor.
really don't count it for you, Savell. I'm sorry.
Jake had 5 at Clemson in 2018.
Well, and he also threw for 500.
That's on my list.
Problem is, I gave up 56 points in that game. That didn't.
Yeah. I think this one's going to be tough to break. The Eric Norwood, 29 sacks, and you say, well, wait a minute now, that can be broke. Clowney had 24. That's 5 off the record. Abraham, who I think is a Hall of Famer, I'm talking NFL Hall of Fame, 23 and a half, and Andrew Province had 26. But 29 sacks is pretty damn good.
And especially in that era with they're getting the ball out much quicker. I just think that's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah,
it was on my list too, Mike.
Yeah, I think that one's going to stand for a while. You say, what about Dylan Stewart? He's not going to be here for another. He's got 2 years left.
Got 2 years.
And do you think he's going to get to 30?
We had 4.5 last year. So if he does, he'll have to one of these years he'll have to break Jadeveon Clowney's record of 13 in a season.
Right.
Clowney had that in 2012.
Yeah, Kennard had 11 and a half last year, which was a hell of a year. I mean, he won almost every defensive player award, and he had 11 and a half. But I think 29. Eric Norwood was a hell of a college player. This is a classic case. And I was doing the Panthers preseason games when they drafted him and he was in camp, and he just couldn't get heat on the quarterback like he did in college. You watched him go up against guys like Jordan Gross and Travell Wharton and some of the other guys the Panthers had blocking. And I was just watching him, and he wasn't quick enough to just be one of these like outside linebackers that covers speedy receivers and backs. So he wasn't an NFL guy. That's okay. It doesn't change the fact he was a complete badass in college.
Yes, he was.
He was. I mean, he was Carolina's, like, in a lot of ways, like a David Pollock type. He just he wasn't the physical freak of Clowney. We know that. Very few people are. But damn it, he was good, and he came up big in big moments.
God, can I back up something you said just a minute ago?
Sure.
I'm gonna maybe reverse course on what I was saying on the 29 tackles in a game. In the record book, like when if you pull up the record book, they list like the top whatever. Depending on the stat, it could be top 10, top 20, wide receivers, yards per, whatever it is. They total tackles in a game. They only list one. It was James Seawright. I think they're like, if this ever broken, we'll just replace that guy's name. Like, I don't. It's just
you don't need it.
I don't think we need to go to number 2. Number 2 is like 17 or something.
Right. That's why he's him and Rodgers and the 4 interceptions in the game. Those are easily top 5ers for me just in football. Again, I think Shaw's 73 touchdowns. That's going to last a while. Hope it doesn't. Hope we get to see somebody who just lights it up for 3 years before he winds up going pro. But I think that could last for quite some time. And those are the main football ones I had. And again, the Jeffrey 1,517 yards. All right, and I think I can't remember if that was 11 or 12 game season, but that's you got to average well over 100 yards a game, regardless. Well over 100 yards a game, and everybody knew about Alshon Jeffrey every defensive coordinator game planned and said, yeah, we can't have that guy beat us in the passing game. I'm not saying he was the only weapon, but he was pretty damn good. I think 1,517 yards could last for a long time.
Marcus Lattimore and Alshon Jeffrey played on the same team. Like, let that settle in for a second. You know what I mean? Like, I know Connor was the quarterback for the majority of the 11 season, but Stephen Garcia, and that's a lot of what helped Alshon in 2010. You had Marcus Lattimore too. You know,
Sure,
like,
of course,
you know, they couldn't triple team him or anything like that.
You had a heavy box.
Trivia question, Matt. You get the first crack at this.
Let's go.
How many 1,000-yard receivers are there in the history of Carolina football?
Like for the career or in the season?
No, I'm sorry, single season.
4.
No, you're a little. You got to give him a little more credit than that. How about you, Mike? I know you know this.
I don't know off the top of my head. How many all-time had 1,000-yard season? How many different guys?
Yeah, how many different, or how many?
I mean, I start thinking in my brain the 80s. I don't know too many pre-80s that did it. So I start thinking in the 80s, and I can think of 2 or 3 guys right there. And then I start thinking of the 90s, and I can think of, especially with Brad Scott's offense, I can think of a couple guys there. And then we're talking about the Lou and Spurrier. I would say about, I'll go 11.
I'm going to name them for you. Sterling, of course, had 1106 in 1986. Sidney Rice had 2, 2005, 2006.
I was going to individual players. Like, so
that's what I was doing
one
too.
For me.
Yeah, individual players.
That's fine.
So we're up to 2.
So that's 2. Alshon, 3. Pharaoh Cooper had 1,100 yards in 2014. That's 4. And Xavier Legette, 22. Just 5 guys.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, man. Okay.
1,000 yards. Somebody, it was, remember, Kenny just missed it. Kenny had 968 in 2007. The one that's the most surprising, to be honest, is Brian Edwards, because Brian Edwards is the career receiving yards leader at South Carolina. He does not have a 1,000-yard season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was always up there around 900
yards a year.
900 yards a year, like clockwork.
By the way, I don't think his receiving yards record is going to be broken.
You don't?
I looked at that. I thought about that. What's the number? Late night?
30-45. 3,045. You're gonna have to play 4 years, and you're gonna have to get 50 targets a year.
It won't be easy.
No. Well, there's Alshon was 30-42 until Brian broke it, and then the closest one to that was Kenny, 27-81.
Now,
Sterling.
a couple of those, remember, they didn't used to count bowl games.
Yeah.
Which
I
I thought
know.
was ridiculous.
Well, that was in Lowe's article about Barry Sanders and the great year he had. They didn't even count the bowl game where he had 222 rushing yards against Wyoming.
This is where college football, again,
why?
It's so stupid. The game is, I always say the game is indestructible because think of the idiots that have run it. How do you not just go back? This doesn't take a massive effort. You can find a couple of nerds to go back and look at every bowl game and add up the numbers and add it to their stats. And that certainly should be the case for Barry Sanders or anybody else for that matter.
I got one for you guys real quick, too. I agree with everything, Mike. You think there's ever going to be a 56-yard made field goal?
Yes.
Number 55.
I do. I think field goal kickers' legs are getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Ryan Suckup could have hit one from 56. I'm convinced.
100%. No doubt.
He had the leg. I don't know what his NFL long was, but he had the leg to go 56.
Absolutely. Ryan can kick it a country mile.
Yeah.
This kid they got on campus now, Mason Love, can kick it a country mile. Is it going to end up being accurate? I saw him kick that was the best part of the spring game. It's that little kicking competition that they did. I could have left after that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a brilliant move. Get the microphone and get 35,000 people on their feet and surround the kickers with their team and yell in their faces.
Well, it's smart because it's just like the free throw shooter that routinely hits 9 out of 10 in practice and then shoots 58% in the games. It's a different deal when you're running back and forth, stopping in front of a crowd, referee hands you the ball, and then you got to hit it. It's a totally different thing. Same thing with field goal kickers. If you just watch them in practice, they're just booming them left and right and splitting the uprights. But in a game, it's an entirely different process. You actually have a line rushing you. You have the potential of a bad snap, a bad hold, and of course, you've got 80 to 90 to 100,000 screaming fans at you.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant.
I don't think do we have to hit a break here?
In just a minute.
Clock it. Look, see, the king of late night is he is. You want to talk about a guy who's groomed. Clock integrity. That's what Matt Anderson is thinking right now. As he looks at the clock and he says 11:34, and he's, do we not have to take a break here? We're teaching these young men well.
Well, it's all, and JC's been doing this for 3 years, and he still doesn't know there's a clock.
Well, again, some are easier to teach than others, but the king of late night, Matt Anderson, I mean, the Conan O'Brien of these type of shows, he knows you got to take a break here.
I'm going to say, I don't think BJ Mackey's scoring record's ever going to be broken.
Okay, we're getting to that now. So now that you just broke a rule. So Matt, I just praised you.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And now I got to throw a flag because I too have basketball and baseball, and that's where we tease it. And Matt says, and I think, guys, there's a basketball record that is just about unbreakable. And I'll tell you, right after Mike talks poetically about Troy Branham.
Yeah, but before you go get into your poem, I've got your referee that you have, Dennis O'Leary, Dennis O'Keefe. Yeah. Dennis O'Leary.
If we got Dennis O'Leary to call a game, that'd be great. Dennis, the funniest referee of all time.
The last time I was on with him, or when you had him come on ITG, he mentioned what he called Me Too flags, and we were talking about the LSU game. Yeah. I'm going to join in here and throw a Me Too flag on the king of late night for bursting the bubble there. You tease that. That's a big Me Too flag coming on this end.
Yeah, no, and justifiably.
Now, I will say that with Alex, I give him show notes. He knows exactly where we're going. I got to text 30 minutes ahead of time. Hey, we're going to do records.
There we go.
Well, that's how I do it. I keep you on your toes. You have to. I'm not going to let you prepare for this. Like,
yeah,
how much do you know?
10 minutes before showtime. Why don't you break down the history of the biggest shots in Gamecock basketball?
That's right.
All right, sure.
Let's see how much you actually know.
Let's do it. And yes, Clint, I think that was like a Freudian slip. I was making up a program, but actually in the back of my mind, I'm thinking Nigerian Nightmare. Christian Okoye played for Azusa Pacific. For those that ever heard of that college, that's where he actually played his college ball. Hell of a player back in the day. Troy Branham, hell of a mortgage guy. He keeps me updated on what's going on, which means we keep you folks updated so you can save money. So it's a good time to call Troy. 1% down payment, conventional purchase loan for first-time home buyers. I know we have a lot of the younger audience out there that is part of ITG. Maybe you're ready to finally make that first-time home purchase, but you've been a little skittish for a number of different reasons. Well, no more. There's good news, and Troy can help you with that. Also, reduced rates and PMI as well. There's a number of things that make it beneficial to call Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage. And for many of you, if you kind of forget that number, we always have it scrolling on the bottom of the screen. We've always got it ready to roll, but you can give them a call at 803. This is one you put on the fridge, right next to like the BOGO coupon from Publix. And, a little picture of Johnny getting his first hit in Little League. You put Troy Branham's number on there, so you save a lot of money on all your mortgage needs. 803-238-0111, 803-238-0111. The time is getting better to call Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage.
It's 11:37. More on this topic, and I want to get Mike's thoughts, too, from the comment made by Steve Tannehill yesterday. I'll be right back.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Hey, this is Cornbread Cowboy, and you're listening to the show. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions. Basement crawl space encapsulation designed for your specific needs. Your crawl space can be susceptible to all sorts of issues, including moisture buildup, mold growth, and structural damage if not cared for properly. Let our trained experts provide basement crawl space encapsulation solutions to protect your home, improve air quality, and enhance energy efficiency. Schedule your consultation today for a safer, healthier space at dryspacecs.com. Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions, proud supporters of your South Carolina Gamecocks.
The Aventon Adventure 2 takes the same basic design as the original Aventon Adventure, making it an adventure bike designed to take you places that typical roads just don't reach, allowing you to ride whatever terrain you want based on your whims of the day. Look at what you're getting: hydraulic disc brakes, torque sensor for responsive pedal assist, great LED lighting, suspension, a beautifully welded frame with excellent build quality, included rear rack, included fenders. The list just keeps going on.
Visit electricbikescharleston.com for more.
Happy summer from the Barn Dominium Company, where they are building dream homes all across the Carolinas. Their turnkey process can be custom designed, and you build it your way. Make your dream a reality. Visit thebarndominiumco.com. That's thebarndominiumco.com for floor plans, photo galleries, locations, and to learn more about us. Gamecock owned and operated.
Welcome to Palm Casual Patio Furniture. Because we are the factory, Palm Casual has the ability to offer the highest quality outdoor furniture paired with world-class service. Since 1979, our factory showrooms have done our best to make the buying process as easy as possible for our customers. Our understanding of the many factors that go into your decision has helped us create our 30-day trial period that increases the level of comfort our customers feel during the shopping experience. Visit us in Somerville, Mount Pleasant, Myrtle Beach, and Bluffton, and online at palmcasual.com for our products and out-of-state locations. Go Gamecocks!
This is Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show. Part of the Chiefs Sports Network.
Someday, lady, you'll accompany me where the rivers meet the sounding sea. Feel it in my soul, it's meant to be. Oh, someday, lady, you'll accompany me. Someday, lady, you'll accompany me. You will accompany me.
Help keep our state beautiful. If you drive slow, stay the hell out of the left lane. Welcome back inside the Gamecocks, the morning show. It's 11:43, the king of late night, and Golden Tones. They teased hoops and baseball. We'll get to that. I'll mention this to pile on the George Rogers Unbreakable records. 3 1,000-yard rushing seasons. Probably won't happen again. And then 27 100-yard rushing games, by the way. Again, the closest, by the way, was Mike Davis, the second Mike Davis, and Brandon Bennett, Harold Green, and Marcus Lattimore. They all had 11. A little shy.
No, these aren't. The game's just not played that way anymore. I mean, those were the days where, like, Herschel versus George Rogers, Bo versus Herschel. I mean, the entire offense was based on one running back. Essentially, we just don't do that anymore in college football.
No, those days are over. All right, Matt already ruined this segment by
I already popped the top
talking about Carolina basketball. But y'all brought it up. So Mike, what is the most unbreakable record? I have mine. I'm curious if we're aligned on this. You mentioned the scoring record, but what is the most unbreakable Gamecock basketball record?
I mean, I'm with late night. I think BJ Mackey's 2,119 points. It was Alex English with 1972. After that, it's Thornwell, Roach, and Devin Downey. And remember, Devin Downey actually started his career at Cincinnati. Him and Sam Frederick both thought life was better somewhere else and then quickly came back to Columbia. But yeah, I just don't. A couple things have to happen. Of course, BJ was not an NBA first-round draft pick. They tried to play him at point guard to prove he could be a point guard at the next level. That didn't go well, and BJ is doing good things now as a coach, and wish him well.
Great things.
But the 2,119 points he put up, so that means you've got to play 4 years. There's just no way, unless you're Pistol Pete Maravich and you're putting 45 up a night, you're not breaking that record unless you play 4 years. You've basically got to be a starter for 4 years. You've basically got to be an all-conference type scorer for at least 3 of those years to really even have a shot at it. Just to have a prayer of breaking that record. So I'm right there, aligned with late night. I don't think that's going down.
Well, and the question is, do you play on a terrible team where you're the only one that scores, or do you play on a good team?
Well, he played on both.
Oh, I know.
He played on back-to-back tournament teams and an SEC championship team, and then he played on one of the worst teams in the last 30 years at Carolina. Well, they win 8 games, Matt?
8-21. I was a ball boy that year.
Yeah.
Were you really? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
It was your fault.
Yeah, clearly.
It's my fault.
Yeah, that was a
not happy with
disaster.
you.
Wasn't there like a 50-point loss at Syracuse in the middle of all that, too?
Probably.
Yeah,
it was not good.
That was 99, right? Am I getting
that
my years
sounds right. Yeah, it was the year after
Yeah,
the
it was
back-to-back
99.
tournaments.
It was 99. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Mine's kind of aligned with your. Alex English made 855 field goals. I don't think that's ever going down.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Of course, you had no three-point line. Alex English, in today's day and age, he's well over 2,000. I
John
promise
Roach,
you.
too.
Yeah, and Roach, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Goodness gracious.
Devin Downey. I looked this up to make sure that I was right. I knew Devin Downey was the shots leader. Devin Downey took over 1,600 shots in his career, which is
Just at Carolina?
just at South Carolina.
Wow.
Okay, and he made. Well, no, that can't be right because he only played at South Carolina for 2 years.
No,
3.
he played 3.
He played
One at
3 years.
Cincinnati, 3 in Columbia.
7, 8,
Yeah.
8, 9. No, that's right. Okay, yeah, 7, 8,
Yeah.
8, 9, 9, 10. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So over 1,634 field goals attempted, and he made 686 shots. That's 155 plus 14, 169 shots less than Alex English made, who took 44 less shots. The game's just changed, Mike. Like, you're not going to make 855 anymore.
No. But I do have Devin Downey on my list, but not in the same spot. Devin Downey's 277 career steals. I don't think that goes down. And he broke Chuck Idson, who's one of the best defensive players I ever saw, who had 272. So Devin Downey, 277 steals. And, I mean, hit the shot. I got to call the walk-off at Rupp Arena, helped beat number 1 Kentucky at home a year later. Like, Devin Downey, there were flaws in his game. You know, he wasn't, despite the steals, nobody was going to accuse him of being a defensive stalwart. But that 277 is really, really strong.
How many more points do you think Devin Downey would have scored, and how many more steals would he have had if he wore shorts that were above his knees?
As part of his thing, man. That was
everybody's thing. Like they they basically wore Jinkos. We were talking about this with Holbrook yesterday. Like, are you a fan of the nut hugger era of basketball or the Jinko era of basketball?
You know, I can appreciate both. If the Fab Five is,
I mean, I'm cool in the middle.
When I was a kid, like that was the trendsetter for the baggy shorts, the black socks. That was, every kid thought that was the coolest thing. Although the first bet I ever won was betting a friend of mine that Duke would smoke him in the national championship game. And he was Mr. Fab Five, and he had all the gear, and it was like, the guy had never been to the state of Michigan, but like he was all about it. And I won $20 betting against the Fab Five, who never won a Big Ten championship either. But that's another story. So I have Downey 277 career steals. I have Sam Muldrow 275 career blocks.
Ooh,
with me on this late night? You nodding your head?
Well, I got my shot blocked by Sam Muldrow for about 3 years when I was at South. He was at Wilson. So yeah.
He also, another record that's going to be very hard to break. He blocked 10 shots in a single game against Vanderbilt in 2011. That's an SEC opponent, and he said return to sender 10 times. But 275. Second place is Brandon Wallace, who was 249. These are two underrated players. Again, if these kids. So you remember the guys that were part of the most winning teams, but man, Muldrow and Brandon Wallace, in terms of rim protectors, what you would do today for Lamont Paris to have that kind of force in the middle.
Oh,
those are game-changing players.
Those
were a couple. I had John Roach's 56 in a single game. That'll be very difficult to break. When's the last time a Gamecock player had 40 in a game?
Sindarius had 44.
Thornwell against Bama.
Double overtime.
That's right, double overtime. Was it double or triple?
Quadruple, I think.
Wait a minute, I called that game.
Yeah, I was about to say, Mike, didn't you call the game? Like, that was ringing in my head.
I called that game. Yeah, that was either ESPN2 or SEC Network. Yeah, quadruple overtime.
Yeah,
and Bama won the game. But Laura Rutledge and I were going back and forth in between overtimes. One of our sponsors was, I think, Cooper Tires. And I said, we went back to studio to begin the fourth overtime. I said, well, I had to read the Cooper Tire special. And then I said, we got one overtime for every tire on your car right now, because we're going to quadruple overtime. It was a hell of a game. And then the Gamecocks lost it. I can't remember who hit the shot for Alabama. But so those are my main basketball ones.
I got one. I want to see if Eli Ellis breaks this. 686 career three-point attempts by Jamel Bradley.
the West Virginia long run.
Oh, I loved Jamel Bradley.
Yeah.
Loved him. He was like a poor man Steph Curry.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just little. When he first showed up, I was like, I don't know if he's going to get that shot off in the SEC. I don't know if he's going to be able to break free, but they set good screens for him. He knew how to rub off. He knew how to get his shot off clean, and man, was he money. And for those that don't remember, I mean, was basically hearing impaired.
Yeah. He couldn't hear crap.
Yeah,
he had two hearing aids. Yeah.
Right, had two big old hearing aids. That's a good one. I like that. Who's the best three-point shooter in Gamecock history?
Brent Price.
He's over 40, isn't he?
46.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that ain't going down.
No.
That ain't going down. Of course, the line then was 19 feet 9 inches. It's now closer to 22, but still, that ain't going down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Brent Price, man.
All right, so those are my basketball ones.
Baseball.
Baseball
to me is easy, and I think it's a national record.
Go ahead.
It's the 22 in a row in the postseason. Like,
That's
if that
the
happens, I'll be dead.
Yeah, agreed. And how many consecutive in Omaha specifically? Was it?
It was
11.
11. No.
If you include the
11.
third year, I think it was 11.
I believe it was 11.
So yeah, that's number one. If you want to go individual player, I'm going to give you a name that you might not think of. This is where, again, our older audience will right away say this. But if you're the new wave, you're just like, you're programmed to think the same 5 names from the 21st century. Earl Bass was a one-man unbreakable record machine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where do you want to start? Career ERA, 1.34. Career record, 34 wins and 3 losses. And my favorite one, and I promise you this will never be broken, ever. Let's record this show, and then 100 years from now, when the new cast of ITG is on, Jamie, it'll probably be like your grandson or something. 10 complete game shutouts thrown by Earl Bass.
I'm gonna be in line on that. Like, I don't see Kip's 17 wins ever getting broken either, because you just don't stay in the game long enough to even qualify. Yeah, for one season. Like, there's a lot in baseball. I mean, I would go as far as to say I don't think Ryan Bordennick's 419 batting average ever gets broken. I just, they don't. That's just not the way hitting is taught anymore. I mean, it's just different. The game's different. I mean,
and the bats were different.
Yeah, they were. That was the power era, 97. Yeah. But Ryan Bort, like, if you ask me who's the greatest hitter you've ever watched in the history of Carolina baseball, who's the best hitter you ever saw, I don't even know. I don't know the answer, but I do know this. Like, I would have to give you a top 5, and it would probably change the more I thought about it. But Ryan Bordennick is 100% in the top 5, if not the top 3. He gets like you just pointed out a minute ago. There's a lot of people that think Carolina baseball started in 2010,
right?
And it didn't,
or even 2000.
Yeah, and or exactly, or like they kind of forget like the late June Rains years, early Ray Tanner years. Like, they just kind of forget about them. I don't. I remember him as I was there. And Ryan Bordennick at that point in time was the best hitter I had ever seen. He was one of the best hitters in college baseball, period. I mean, period. The end. And he's a name that never gets talked about, which is crazy.
No, I'm with you. He definitely deserves to be up there. If he was part of one of the teams you just referenced, it would be front and center and everybody. I'll give you another one that nobody talks about, but Mac White, 303 career hits. Now, Michael Campbell, we were on the road.
I know.
Is it Tennessee somewhere? He was on pace to break the record, and he got hit in the hand, broke a finger, broke a hand, and that stopped him. But he was a 4-year guy.
He would have broken
really good college player, but not a great prospect. He would have broken it. But I think Mac White's record of 303 could stand for a long time.
100%. I remember when Campbell was going to. I remember that. I think he might have broke his hamate, but it was something in his hand.
Pitch. I just remember that it was on the hand.
Yeah,
so whatever part of that, the metacarpal, the hamate, whatever it was, it put him out for the year.
There's a kid. I love these. I could do these conversations all day, as you well know, Mike. There's a kid who is going to be playing for the Gamecocks next year from Florence Darlington, Patrick Evans, and a incredibly qualified source to say this has compared him to Brian Triplett. He said he's going to remind you a lot of Brian Triplett. I mean, he can play the infield, he can play the outfield. He doesn't strike out. He's a team guy. He'll bleed to death for this uniform. He's going to do everything solid. He's going to do everything you ask. You can yell at him. He's going to go in one ear and out the other. He's going to go play ball. It's Brian Triplett to a T. And but Brian Triplett was a great college baseball player. And that was, I think that in my opinion is how South Carolina baseball has long been identified, although they have had superstars, as we all well know. Michael Campbell was a incredible college baseball player.
Very good.
I mean, you looked at it with the eye black and the left-hander, and he got great jumps. He wasn't the fastest guy, knew how to steal bases. 2 strikes, he's going to battle you to the death, put
Great
the ball in the
defensive
play.
player.
Yeah, he could do it all.
He was very good. And Mac White was too. I didn't call Mac White's games, but I know enough about his career that he was just a really good college baseball player. I'll give you.
Can I give you another name while I'm on this topic?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know you know him. Also, one of the best offensive seasons I've ever seen, just in the craft of baseball, not just a big slugger who's hitting 420 like Bordenic did. Mike Curry.
Yeah. Oh, no question.
I mean, Mike Curry hit 400, dude. Like
stolen base demon as well.
Yeah, he was a dude.
No, he was a hell of a player. This is 2 names combined to provide something I don't think will ever happen again. Ray Levine and Tim Lewis threw back-to-back no-hitters. The Gamecocks had 2 consecutive games against George Mason and Old Dominion and threw back-to-back no-hitters. Not combined no-hitters, no-hitters.
Wow.
I don't think that's going to be done again.
No. I mean, we don't even see no-hitters anymore unless you're in Omaha.
I think Ray owned a sports bar in Columbia for a while. I don't know, a Beef O'Brady's or something. Whatever it wasn't D's Wings, so I don't really care. But nevertheless, Ray Levine.
Way to go, Coach.
I met his daughter, but that's historic. Like, that's incredible. Levine and Lewis back-to-back no-hitters. Michael Campbell's 13 triples, speaking of soup, is going to be a hard one to break as well. And, obviously, Petrie certainly flirted with it, and who knows if he stays healthy, he would have come much closer. But Justin Smoke's 62 home runs, right up there. I would say Steve Pierce had the best 2-year stint of any Gamecock everyday player that I've ever seen or heard of, and against top-notch SEC pitching with the same bats, give or take, that they use today, the -3s. Those are just some names off the top of my head.
I would also say Matt Price's 43 saves is...
It's going to be awfully hard to beat. And it's when he got them. That's the other thing, too. How many of those were in the postseason?
I know. Hey, Phil, are we okay past noon, or do you have to meet the AC guy, or are you getting your floors replaced or something like that? Or, because y'all aren't working today, is it okay if we carry this an extra couple of minutes?
It's probably JC needs a tire change or something on his way to Columbia.
He says we're. I don't think Phil wants to be. I think he's drinking.
Mad Dog gave us clearance. I just
be
picture Mad Dog, enjoying the conversation. He's got a cold one in his hand. He's laying back, hitting a few buttons, and keep it going, fellas.
Yeah. He said. I mean, we went over yesterday because I didn't have a show. We kept Tannehill a little longer, and I do want to ask you about that in a second. While we're on the topic of baseball, though, Chad Holbrook said something yesterday that was, I think, really awesome. The guy's a media pro. He probably needs to get into this industry whenever he's done coaching. But we were talking about what happened in Arkansas the other day, and I mentioned, I don't know what they did to piss off the baseball gods in Omaha, but they've done a great job of doing that because they've just been punished in the last 7 years. And they're the best program, most consistent program in the SEC until that moment over the last 15-plus years. And Holbrook took it in a different direction. He said, because we were talking about the Eloy kid throwing to third. Well, every other game of the year, he's going to turn a double play there, and he freaks out. And we were talking about the first baseman. The second baseman's in his hip pocket. Like, why are you going to your right to get the ball? Go to first. Like, what are you doing? Just brain fart type deals. These guys do it every day. And Holbrook said, didn't it make you appreciate Peter Mooney and Scott Wingo? Didn't it make you appreciate Adrian Morales? And you go back, if you really stop and think about this, we mentioned the 22-game winning streak in the postseason, the 11 in Omaha. Think about everything we see in Omaha every year, and when the chips are on the line, how many guys, oops, I crapped my pants, like that guy mentioned earlier in our chat box?
Yeah.
I mean, that's all over Arkansas. They have just doo-dooed the bed so many times, and a lot of these teams do. Carolina was unbelievably dead to rights in 2010 and 2011. More times than we could. Everybody mentions Virginia and North Carolina. I can mention Oklahoma. I can mention A&M. I can mention UCLA. I mean, we can go on and on with how many games it was over for the Gamecocks. And they came through every single time. Bases loaded, nobody outs. That didn't happen. Somebody's going to score. Nope. Not when Scott Wingo's playing second base. You know, I mean, it was just, I still don't know if it's ever appreciated. Like, I don't think people, Mike, as you know, because you sat there so many times over the years and watched how hard this game is to not only play, but to, like, when the chips are on the line, how you perform in those moments. People don't actually understand it. They watch it through television and then they yell when things don't happen. They don't get it. Like, those things that happened, that's not normal. Like, none of it's normal what they did. I think Holbrook hit the nail on the head with that yesterday about how appreciated those group of players should be.
Yeah, I mean, you could make the case, in addition to being the most consistent, successful program for about 15 years, it was also the most consistently reliable program defensively. The Wingo, it's funny you mentioned him because I'm just thinking in my head, and I might have the date wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is right. In 09, or maybe it was 08. No, I think it was 09, the year before the first title. We go to LSU, get swept. In one of those games, we had it won, and I'm pretty sure Wingo had a really bad error. And you get back on the bus, and nobody says a peep. Everybody's just looking around like, phew. And keep in mind, this is after losing a super in 06, losing a super in did we mention the 5 consecutive home runs? That's never going to be done again, especially in a postseason game. You want to talk about records? I
thought that'd be your first one.
It was. I just
okay.
we've talked about it so many times. I wanted to get to some other ones, but absolutely, that's not going anywhere. But Wingo had, and so I'm looking at him. I'm sitting close to him on the bus, and he's obviously, down. He might have been a freshman at the time, and he wasn't a great hitter. And then he boots a ball, and it's like, God, I'm feeling for that kid. And then he winds up being a huge factor in the run to a national championship. So it's like, even the guys that had some moments, they eventually had redemption. For Arkansas, it just feels like that program can't get redemption. That program just cannot buy redemption. That left fielder that botched that fly ball, and I'm not saying it's an easy one.
No.
But I'm saying it's a play. He hadn't made an error all year.
Yeah, I know.
He hadn't made an error all year. So it's not like he's like a first baseman, like trying to put Ethan Petrie out in right field or something. He's an actual, like, reliable defensive player that when the lights were shining brightest and the game was on the line, oops, I lost my footing. The shortstop did not make a ton of mental errors all year, but on a surefire double play, you go to third.
Yeah. As soon as the ball left his hand, you could see the body language. He was like,
what am I doing?
What did I just do?
What did I just do? There's a lot of moments where that's the right play. That ain't it.
That run meant nothing. I mean,
right. Exactly. It's just one of those things where you're like, golly, man.
Well, it felt like they were like when Gecko was in the game. I mentioned this to Holbrook yesterday, and he mentioned the play in left field. He's like, I'm going to give this guy some credit of the plays we're talking about. That was the most difficult because A, it had topspin. B, if you've ever stood in left field in Omaha in that stadium, those lights will play tricks on you if it gets there, especially with topspin. So Holbrook gave him some credit on that. But we were talking about the other plays. Not that he shouldn't have made the play.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like I said, it wasn't routine.
Yeah.
It wasn't a can of corn, but it's a play. I mean, the reason why he was inconsolable after the game crying, it's a play he knows he should have made.
Sure, 100%. And at worst, you get a bad jump, you just let it hop and you keep it in front of you. And he didn't do that. He slipped. But Gecko, before that, Gecko was running out of gas. And you could tell he threw 90 pitches 3 days prior. I mean, he was running out of gas. But God, his body language, Mike, I wanted to come through the TV. I was like, do you realize the whole country's watching you and you're just out there just like slumped over, like, let me just get through this? And that's what it felt like every single time after that when it was okay. It was like Arkansas all of a sudden, and this isn't Dave Van Horn. Dave Van Horn doesn't show emotion. He's loose. He just kind of watches the game, right? Like Coach Tanner. And every time there was a crucial play, it was almost like, please don't hit it to me. God, please don't hit it to me. Whereas those Gamecocks back then, it was like, hit it my way. Hit it to me. I'll make the play. Blake Cooper told me a funny story one time. Wingo did make an error in the 2010 finals against UCLA, and he booted one, and he walked out to the mound to hand the ball back to Coop, and Coop said, "Scotty, come here." And he's like, Wingo, Mike, what's up, squirrel? Oh, hey, see a chicken? He can't focus, dude. And he was like, if you don't pull your head out of your ass, my foot's going to be the next thing going up it. And Wingo's like, I got you, man. Just roll me another one. He rolled him another one.
That's Nice's South Carolina's talk right there.
Yeah.
That's one traffic light talk right there.
That's right. But that's the stuff that Wingo was like, I got it. Just hit me another one, man. We'll be fine.
Look, it can go both ways. I mean, we've talked about the Reese Havens 3 errors game in a super regional. Who could have ever predicted that? I don't know if Reese ever had 3 errors in a game in his life.
He didn't.
But sometimes it can get to you. I've seen it happen to Carolina too, but sometimes those things all even out typically. If you are a good defensive team, if you do have a couple of those, you're going to eventually make those plays, those game-saving plays. And obviously that's what 2010 and 2011 was all about, in addition to so many other good things.
Well, once you do it once, you can do it again. And that confidence just grows and grows and grows where you relax.
Yeah, I think 2011, you're playing with house money. That team was mentally unbreakable. Mentally unbreakable. The hardest thing to do is get to Omaha when you're a bunch of players. Like Carolina will get to Omaha again. I don't know when. And when they do, a major monkey will be off the back, like grand size piano off the back. And then you can play loose again. And then if you're fortunate enough to get to the finals, well, then you'll be uptight. But if you win it and then you get back the next year, which very often does happen. This year was an aberration, 8 new teams. Then you're playing with house money. There's so many guys that are going to be on that field that already have a ring, have a national championship. So they don't feel the same type of pressure as a kid who's never been there. And most of those Arkansas guys hadn't been there. Well, and I think it showed up.
If Carolina, whenever they get back, more than likely, percentages are they will be playing for the national championship because of their 8 all-time appearances. 5 times they've been in the finals, which is crazy.
And Arkansas now joins Clemson and North Carolina, 12 appearances without a title. So number one, the king is Florida. And you texted me when Arkansas had the meltdown. And I said that you said they're cursed. And I said, yeah, this is Mike Martin 2.0. That's what Dave Van Horn is. Super likable guy, really good coach, might not ever win a national title. So you have them at the top. And then you have 3 ACC teams, Tar Heels, Tigers, and
Seminoles.
Well, Florida State leads the way by far, but I think that there might be another ACC team I'm forgetting. Anyway, Arkansas now is 12 as well.
It's NC State, right?
I don't know. I don't know if it's NC State or not.
It's not Wake Forest.
I don't know if they've been 12 times.
Wake Forest won the only one for the ACC until Virginia.
Right, until Virginia did it. And before that, it was in the 50s by Wake.
Yeah, 54, I think is what it was.
Omaha has not been kind to the ACC.
No, and
not at all.
News, not kind again this year because I'm going to hold the Tannehill stuff. I want to. He mentioned something yesterday about Cam Ward and the opportunity he had to play in Columbia. Mike, we'll talk about that next week so we can have a more extensive conversation on it, and we'll do a Super 8 for Omaha next week too. Because I don't, I know Phil. We're getting into Phil's happy hour here. We don't want to bust him up. I will say this: on Omaha, I I think the hottest team in the country's in the championship and the best team in the country. Look, Arkansas was my pick. I thought they were the best team. LSU proved me wrong. So, and LSU was ranked number 1 for a long time this year. I do think they have the two right teams in the championship here. And maybe the best team is also the hottest team in Coastal Carolina. I will say hat tip to the Chanticleers. Hat tip to Gary Gilmore for not sitting in the dugout after he retired. I think it's very admirable of him to let the next group of coaches actually coach the team. Very much like, Coach Tanner and anybody else that's ever actually coached. They move along. So I'm sure Gary's there in attendance, but he won't be doing in-game interviews during this whole ordeal. So who wins this thing, Matt? Who wins? Does LSU win it? Does the SEC get another crown?
I think so. I gotta go with LSU here. I won't coach to the win, but I think it's LSU.
What do you think, Mike?
I think what keeps Coastal in this is they have the pitching. They have the starting pitching, and they have the closer.
They do.
That's what they have. You could even argue their rotation is better than LSU's 1 through 3.
Yeah.
But LSU's got a kid out of the pen that throws 100. That'll certainly factor into all of this. And I would give the offensive edge to LSU, and I would give the intangible edge to LSU because
there you go.
LSU just in Omaha, they are right at home. Their fans take over. The aura of that program starts sinking in, and until it's, I don't know when you bet against LSU in a final. It's pretty hard to do that.
Well, it's like betting against Alabama in the national championship in football. Like, you might be wrong, but are you going to really bet against them? I mean,
right. Now, again, I don't get it twisted for the 5 Coastal fans that might be tuning in. I think Coastal's a great story. I think they have the rotation to compete in this thing. This is not going to be like, oh, we're just Coastal and it's LSU, so we're just going to tuck our tail between our legs and go home. Not at all. I would give LSU an edge. I hope it's a great series. I do. I hope we get to game 3 on Monday.
I think it gets there. I really do. I believe that teams that have won 26 in a row just don't magically go 2-Q. I don't think. I don't see it, man. I'm with you. I give the edge to LSU because it's LSU in Omaha. I mean, that's really the edge for me. But I watching Coastal Carolina play baseball right now is just a thing of beauty, guys. And the crazy thing, I mentioned this yesterday with Holbrook. So the last time, there's a lot of neat storylines here. The last time Coastal lost was against Chad Holbrook in the College of Charleston, April 22nd. The Cougs swept them this year. And I asked him, I said, how the hell you beat these guys? He said, I don't know.
3-game sweep?
No, they played 2 midweeks.
Oh, okay.
They 10-run ruled them in Conway, and then they turned around and beat them by a couple of runs over at Patriots Point. When Coastal won the national championship in 2016, they went to the Bayou and beat Pulmonary and the LSU Tigers, fly to Omaha, and they beat Jay Johnson in Arizona in the national championship. And here's Jay Johnson again now with LSU.
That 2016 team that won the title, we did their game on a Tuesday night at Founders Park, Todd Walker and I, and Carolina won it like 4-1 or something. It's a pretty non-plus game. We're like, okay, it's the last time we'll talk about Coastal Carolina for a while. And we still to this day joke about the fact that game, we had no idea that we were looking at the eventual national champion in the Chanticleers. I said it right, Coach. It is the Chanticleers. Some of us are aware.
Schnall. Good for Schnall. You know what? You've got this stage. Say it. Say whatever you got to say.
Oh, on the stage, you see them advertising their summer baseball camp in the dugout with a QR code.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's fantastic.
Good for him, man.
QR code in the dugout.
I don't blame him one bit. You don't get this opportunity. It's an every year thing, and I think he knows that. I think he hopes it will be, but reality says it won't be. 3-game series. 3-game series, Matt?
Yeah, 3 games. I'm taking LSU, but
I'll take LSU. Be another SEC national championship. How many would that be, Mike, for LSU?
Oh, for LSU?
All time.
5 for Burtman, 1 for Maneri, 1 for Johnson. So this would be 8.
And 12 is the record, correct?
Southern Cal.
Rod Dado of Southern Cal. Yeah. Did I shortchange Burtman one? I think that's right.
I think Burtman only had one.
I think that's right.
Burtman had 5.
I think they had 6 until.
No, sorry, Maneri. Maneri had 1. That's what
Maneri had 1. But Burtman's last one was in 2000.
Yeah.
Then Smoke Laval takes over and takes him to Omaha twice. Carolina knocks him out of there twice, and Smoke was never heard from again. Sometimes life is just not fair, but nevertheless. Guys, have a great weekend, man.
Thank you for the extended time this week.
Enjoyed it. Looking forward to Monday.
Enjoy anybody that heads to Columbia for the Gamecock Bash tonight with the Gamecock Club, and tomorrow the winging.
So what is JC doing? Is he competing in the wing contest, or is he just...
Look, Ben, anytime JC has an event, whether it's minor or major, he takes all week to prepare for it. We learned that last
It's his event?
He's partly his event, yeah. He started this 3 years ago with Carolina Rise when we had the first one.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
And then they took it over last year at Tannehill's Bar in 5 Points.
Right.
And now they're doing it again this year. So Ashley's going out. If Monty ends up being in town, he'll be there. I think Sean Elliott's going. Lenore Sellers is going. There's a bunch of players going.
But are they all competing, or they're just like watching other grown men eat wings?
No, it'll be athletes at South Carolina. I don't know if any coaches are going to get involved in this.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not going to be like open to the public to have wing eating contests.
No.
It's all going to be players.
Yeah, okay. it's players. Like Vershawn Lee ate like 25 wings 2 years ago in like 3 minutes or something. It was crazy.
Oh, I can do that.
I mean, I think he ate the bone. I don't even know if he chewed any of them. I mean, it was pretty wild.
That'll pass.
Yeah, it'll be fine. So,
all
right, everybody, enjoy their weekend. Thank you so much. Thanks to Mike and Matt for being here today, and Mad Dog for all he does. We'll see you Monday.
The Arsenio Hall of sports talk conversation, Matt Anderson.
Flat Top Anderson.
See you guys.
See you guys.